AIFTP to join them. We invite on the dais our dignitaries, CA Aniket Talati. Also gracing the dais are Shri Pankaj Ghia, President, AIFTB, Shri Pankaj Shah, President, Tax Advocates Association, Gujarat, Sameer Jani, Vice President, AIFTB, Vice Isani, Convener, Tax Advocates Association, Gujarat, Mr. Rajesh Mehta, Secretary General, AIFTB, Kinjal Shah, Vice President, TAG, Mr. Bindesh Shah, Honorary Secretary, Tax Advocates Association, Gujarat, Shri Ashwin Acharya, Chairman, West Zone. We extend a warm welcome to our eminent and esteemed speakers for the day, CA Shri Anil Mathur, Advocate Shri Uchit Sheth, session, public dialogues and awareness programs. We now bring to you chanting of some Sanskrit verses resonating the motto of the association, it being Jnanam Param Balam, knowledge is supreme power. We now invite President, All India Federation of Tax Practitioners, Shri Pankaj Ghia, for his welcome address.
Good morning to all of you. All of you. Honorable Justice Mrs. Bhatt, Mr. Aniket Talati, the President of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, my seniors, friends from Ahmedabad, ladies and gentlemen, and the learned speakers of today's seminar. It's good to be back at Ahmedabad. Good to be back at an AIFTP function after a long gap in Ahmedabad. And this is what AIFTP is. We are seeing the participation from Ahmedabad, from Gujarat, and apart from that, people from other places had also come, from Jodhpur in Rajasthan, I from Jaipur, Rajesh Bhai from Indore, and many other places, Ashwin Bhai from Mumbai, and many other places. And that is what AIFTP is. It is a mini India of all tax professionals. Wherever we go, wherever we meet, we get friends. Friends, education is necessary and continuous education is a must in the coming days, in the coming times, in the present times also. For the simple reason that the amendments, the changes in the law, the notifications, they are coming in barrage. They are coming like every day in every act. some of new things come, either a circular or a press release. Earlier the Twitter was also coming, but nowadays the Twitter has gone to Elon Musk and has stopped. But I would also say that the interpretations by various authorities and the contradiction in the interpretation. Now nothing is settled. Everything is unsettled. You cannot rely on a judgment, you cannot rely on a ruling, you cannot rely on an advanced authority ruling, for the simple reason that there are contradictory views from the various courts or the various authorities. And then when we travel to the higher forums, the views are sometimes reversed or sometimes confirmed. And the tax planning we all need to do has to be based on our interpretation. We cannot rely on a particular judgment, even of the jurisdictional courts, for the simple reason that contradictory judgments from the other courts, and then the matter travels and the settled law is unsettled after many years. And that is where the expertise of us, the tax professionals, comes into picture. That is where the experience comes into picture. That is where the knowledge sharing, the personal meetings, the interaction between the members, the interaction and resolving of the queries comes into picture. We can have these GST or income tax technical sessions on webinars also. You have good speakers, you have the best of speakers, and you can choose your speaker. But this type of interaction, this type of gathering, you will not get out there. I come here, I had some query in my mind. I can ask Upen Bhai, what is your view in this point? And that is what personal interaction is. I come here, I ask a query, Arpit Haldia from Jodhpur is here. He is one of the wizard on GST. And I can ask him, Arpit Bhai, what is your view? What is your take on it? And that is what we do in these personal conferences. And I can tell you, there is no substitution of these type of seminars and conferences. AIFTP is a main body apart from the statutory bodies like Bar Council of India or Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, where we have more than 12,000 tax professionals registered as our members. We are present in every state and every union territory in India. We are having conferences, seminars and activities throughout India. And friends, I am glad to inform you that in the first quarter, because now we are trying to be a corporate body also, we want to put a corporate report, the quarterly report or the unaudited report we say in the corporate world. So in the first quarter, that is January to March, we had 41 plus programs. And that is throughout India. We had a program in Puducherry, we had a program in Dhanbad, we had a program in Kolkata, we had a program in Muzaffarpur, we had a program in Kochi, we had a program in Jaipur, we had a program now in Ahmedabad, and lined programs are out there. And friends, all programs are available on our website. We are having one program every weekend from here to December 2023. All are lined up, all details are available on the website, and we mix the programs with the religious fervor. So Jaipur, we had a darshan of Khatu Shyamji, then we went to Lucknow, we had a darshan of Ayodhya, we went to Dwarka, we went to other places. We are planning one seminar in Kevadia with the Statue of Unity, that is on 28th, 29th and 30th of this month. In May, we are having a conference at Indore with the darshan of Mahakal. We had a meeting recently where we went to the at Banaras, Kashi Vishwanath darshan, and all arranged. Then Puri, Lord Jagannath, we had a darshan. In June, we are going to Tirupati. In August, we are going to Rameshwaram along with the GST and income tax. Because even lords are not spared with the GST and income tax. You are missing the love and affection, you are missing friends throughout India. So don't miss it. Join AFTP. Come to AFTP. And apart from all these, you are missing education. The three E's of AFTP: education, ethics, and excellence. Educate and learn. I am here. I had 20 old friends, and I will make 50 new friends today. And that is what connection is. So friends, I welcome you all at this great morning at Ahmedabad on the one-day conference organized by AFTP and Tax Advocates Association of Gujarat. I am sure that it will be wonderful. I am greatly obliged to Honorable Justice Mrs. Bhatt for her presence. Before being elevated to the bench, and definitely this would be a great opportunity for all of us. We are also glad, we are also benefited by the presence of Mr. Aniket Talati, the President of the Institute, and one amongst us. So I welcome you all.
Thank you, sir. We are indeed honored to welcome Shri Mukesh Bhai Patel, Chairperson and Secretary of ICAI in the auditorium. And
Good morning, everyone. Respected Honorable Judge, Gujarat High Court, Ms. Maunaben Bhatt, President of ICA, Aniket Talati, President of AIFT, Mr. Pankaj Bhia, Secretary General of AIFT, Mr. Rajesh Mehta, Vice President of AIFT, Mr. Samir Jani, Chairman of AIFT, Mr. Aswin Acharya, Convener of Tax Advocate Association, Mr. Varis Vaishani, Secretary of Tax Advocate Association, Bindesh Vaishya, Vice President of Tax Advocate Association, Kinjal Vaishya, distinguished guest, member of AIFTB and member of TAG, esteemed colleagues. It's given me an immense pleasure to welcome you all at Heritage City of Ahmedabad for this one-day conference jointly organized by AIFTB and TAG. As tax professionals, we understood the significant impact of tax laws and regulation on businesses, individuals, and the economy as a whole. Today, event is a unique opportunity for us to come together, sharing knowledge and engaging in meaningful discussion about the latest development and challenges in the field of taxation. The theme of this conference is according to our core objectives of knowledge gaining and knowledge sharing. I strongly believe that this conference will provide immense insight into current and significant issues faced in tax laws. We have lined up an impressive roster of distinguished speakers and experts who will be sharing their insight, experience, and expertise on various aspects of direct and indirect taxes. Tax Advocate Association Gujarat is a fountainhead of knowledge gaining and knowledge sharing, established with focus on laying and upholding the tradition of excellence in professional service and to promote and establish the principle of ethical practice amongst its members, creating and fostering a spirit of understanding between tax authority and taxpayer, contributing to the development of law and the profession to research, analysis, and dissemination of knowledge, facilitating in shaping transparent, clean, and efficient government policy through effective representation and public dialogues. We provide an opportunity of continuous learning through various study circle meetings, seminar, webinar, and conference, and provide timely updates regarding various changes in direct and indirect taxes. We at Tax Advocate Association Gujarat feel pride and privilege to be your host. On behalf of Tax Advocate Association Gujarat and All India Federation of Tax Practitioners West Zone, I welcome you in this knowledge journey. Before we beginning the proceeding, we would also like to extend a special word of thanks to our chief guest, Honorable Judge Gujarat High Court, Ms. Maunaben Bhatt, guest of honor, Mr. Aniket Talati, and all our esteemed speakers for graciously agreeing to sharing their knowledge and expertise with us today. Insight and perspective of our today's esteemed speaker will undoubtedly enrich our understanding of the complex world of the taxes. I would like to express our sincere gratitude to all members who have contributed to making this event possible. Your support is invaluable and we are grateful for our continued patronage. Finally, I wish you all productive and enjoyable conference. May all this day filled with insight, networking, opportunities and new connections that will serve you well in your professional and personal endeavor. I once again welcome all of you. Thank you.
In the auditorium, past President ICAI, Mr. Jainik Vakil, a warm welcome to you, sir. Alvin Toffler's futuristic prediction of knowledge being supreme power as our motto, and the shloka from Chandogya Upanishad aptly describes it. Yadaiva vidyaya karoti shraddhana upanishada tadeva virivattaram bhavati, which means that any endeavor that is powered with knowledge, faith and devotion emerges victorious.
Very good.
Thank you, dignitaries. Bhatt with a book. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. We next request Shri Bindesh Chartered Accountants of India with a book. To lead the profession, Shri Aniket was elected 71st President of ICAI for the term 2023-24. See the profession from various perspectives and is widely credited for leading the digital transformation within ICAI, striving to position India as global accounting hub. Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed an honor to welcome and invite our guest of honor, CA Aniket Talati, for his inspiring and enlightening address. Shri Aniket.
Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and let me first begin by stating it's a matter of great pleasure and pride for me to be in your midst this morning, and thank you very much to both the great institutions, the AIFTP and the Tax Advocate Association Gujarat, or TAG as we fondly call it, for inviting me, to the Honorable Chief Guest of today's function, somebody who's truly been a friend, philosopher and guide, if I can use the word, for the professions of chartered accountancy, advocates, tax consultants, and I think we've all been, it's been a pleasure for us to see some of the landmark orders that she has done. Justice Mrs. Maunaben Bhatt, thank you very much, madam. It's always a pleasure to be with you. To Shri Gcci, the President of AIFTP, while you were mentioning your opening remarks and you mentioned about all the wonderful locations that you were able to visit being President of AIFTP, and also the darshans that you could get because of this. Let me also mention that of Chartered Accountants of India and research, I personally believe is a very important aspect of any academic institution. We are a professional institution, but we also take care of the academics of chartered accountants. And today, if you have a Harvard Business Review or you have other important education institutions being respected, it is because of the quality of research that they do. And therefore, we have started something known as the Research Awards, where international participants provide research papers. The jury is chaired by the president of the IFAC, which is the International Federation of Accountants. And when we were thinking of the venue, we decided to do it in Varanasi. And I had the pleasure to be there, but due to certain delays of the entire process, one was very keen to do the darshan. But thanks to, and only thanks to the AIFTP leadership there, they said, no, we will make sure that whatever it is, hum aapko darshan karwayenge, of course. And he made sure that me, the entire council team, we got a wonderful darshan. So let me vouch for the wonderful team that you have across India, and like you rightly mentioned, it is truly a mini India. So compliments on having this wonderful association of tax professionals, and compliments to you, to Ashwin Acharya ji, the chairman of AIFTP, Samir Jani ji, the vice president, who's been instrumental in making sure that I come here. Thank you, Samir bhai, for the personal invitation and all the follow-ups. Pankaj bhai, the president of TAG, Varis Isani ji, again one of the first persons who congratulated me when I became vice president and president. So Varis bhai, always been a pleasure to be with you. Bindesh bhai, Rajesh bhai, Mukesh bhai Patel, I think, who's not just a professional, but today when we sit at Gujarat Chamber of Commerce, one of the few professionals who's been the past president of this August Gujarat Chamber of Commerce. Mukesh bhai, always a pleasure to be with you. Upendra bhai, the chairman of the Revenue Committee of Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation and past chairman of Ahmedabad branch, Jainik bhai, the chairperson and secretary of the Ahmedabad branch, Anjali Bain Abhinav bhai, the president and vice president of CA Association, Sarju bhai, Shivang bhai, and all the dear friends. Thank you very much to both the associations for giving me this opportunity and inviting me and making sure that I could spend the weekend in Ahmedabad thanks to your invitation. Because as the president of the institute, one has to constantly travel. Tomorrow I'll be in Delhi, we'll be there for the next 4 or 5 days. We have certain meetings with the Ministry of Finance and again with the office of the C&AG. And then I'll be going to London for signing a very important MOU which the institute is renewing with the Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales. The Union Cabinet recently approved the mutual recognition agreement between the two institutes. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales, as many of you will know, is one of the oldest institutions of accountancy. And now we have a renewed MOU with them, which I will be signing on behalf of the country, and will be going there. For those of you who may not be aware, especially Maunaben, for your benefit, let me mention that the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India was created through a fiat of the Parliament in the Legislative or the Constituent Assembly of India way back in 1949. So even before the Constitution of the country was adopted on 26th January 1950, on 1st of July 1949, the Act was enacted, that is the Chartered Accountants Act 1949. So the Constituent Assembly thought it fit that even before the Constitution in India became a republic, it was important to set up an institution which would regulate and develop and promote the profession of accountancy. And I was reading that you are proudly mentioning in TAG celebrating 48 years because you were established in 1975. And coincidentally this year also, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, come 1st of July, will enter its 75th year of existence. So going to be a matter of great pride and privilege for me as the president of this institution that we will enter our 75th year, especially when the country is celebrating the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav and looking at the Amrit Kal, which is the next 25 years, when India becomes a developed nation, when the size of the economy is projected to be in excess of $35 to $40 trillion. And of course, we will have a huge market, not just here, but in terms of the industry and development which will be serving the globe. And therefore, it is important for us at the Institute also to realign and see how we are able to reposition ourselves and see where the profession of chartered accountants is going to be 25 years hence. And for this, we have already started a very important strategy meeting. We are going to involve more professionals, more experts. We have IIM Ahmedabad, Harvard, all of them helping us in developing the vision plan for 2049, which is when the Institute will turn 100 years. And the question is that today, when we are sitting into 2023, the membership of the Institute is close to 4 lakh members. So it is one of the largest accounting professions in the world. But more importantly, the student strength has been growing consistently, and today we have more than 8 lakh students pursuing the course of chartered accountancy. And some would think that it's a large country, therefore we have this kind of numbers. But nowhere else in the world, you may go to China, you may go to other developing nations or more, very heavily populated countries. Somewhere the course is not that popular in those countries. But in India, we have been able to ensure through the institute, by creating opportunities, that the profession of chartered accountancy remains one of the profession of choice when a student enters the commerce stream. And very happy to inform you that this year we changed the campus placement. So today, madam, out of every 100 chartered accountants who qualify, close to 85 choose to go into industry. So they will become CFOs, chief accounts officers, take care of the finances, compliances of companies and corporates, or would be servicing the international clients. So looking after the accounting of US, UK, Australia, which happens from here. And for the chartered accountants, the institute decided that for the first year, that is a campus placement for a 21, 22-year-old, the minimum salary that has been prescribed by the institute is 9 lakhs. And this last attempt, we had close to 10,000 chartered accountants who cleared the examination. So every year we have close to 20 to 25,000 new chartered accountants joining the profession. We prescribed the limit 50% higher, and still we had more vacancies than the number of applicants. So 11,000 job applications were given by corporates just in the campus placement of ICA. Now if you include students who would have continued their job in the places where they did their articleship, that is to say employment with their own principal under whom they were doing articles, or they found a job outside market, that's a huge number outside. What I'm trying to say is that the growth of the accountancy profession has been immense. And today when I am in the audience of tax professionals and chartered accountants, I would only say this based on my experience, having been in SAFA, in CAPA, in the international forum, traveled so many countries representing India, that when I go there, it may be the US, UK, Australia, they say that your tax professionals and your accountants are the best in the world. And what is that led to is huge amount of work that is being done today in India, not just of accounting, but of tax compliance also for various other nations. And therefore I would request both the associations, if they deem fit, that they must also explore this opportunity of training tax professionals in not just tax return preparation of India, because that market, of course, between us as advocates or as chartered accountants and professionals, we are able to cater. But can we as a country look forward to making India the hub for accounting of the world, as well as filing of tax returns? It may be direct tax returns, VAT returns of Australia or VAT returns of UK, which today, anywhere between 4 to 5 returns of every 10 returns filed in Australia is filed from India. And you'll be surprised, out of every 10 restaurants in Sydney that you will go into, 8 of those accounts of those restaurants and hotels are written in Ahmedabad. That is the kind of penetration that we have been able to do in these markets. And therefore, going forward, I would feel that the tax compliances, when they are increasing across the globe, our professionals are going to be very important, not just in meeting the regulatory requirements in our country, but we can also become a true export hub. So how software has changed the export potential of the country, I feel we as tax professionals and as accountants can truly change and shape the future of the country by becoming the one-stop destination for tax filing, tax return preparation, and of course accounting jobs. So I think one very important aspect which the profession has realized within the institute, and therefore we have now relooked at the entire course curriculum of ICI. Let me mention here that the Chartered Accountancy course, as all of you are aware, has always been a 3-tiered course. We have foundation, intermediate and final. But now with the advent of technology, and technology which is going to change the shape of everything that we do. Only 2 days ago you had the Honorable Prime Minister speak about judiciary and say how artificial intelligence is going to be extremely important in shaping the future orders and the speedy delivery of justice for the citizens using artificial intelligence. When the Prime Minister is talking about it, when judiciary is talking about it, I think very important for us to appreciate at the institute that technology is going to reshape the future of the profession. And therefore, madam, now what we have decided is that at the CA final level, we will have a paper on accounts, we will continue to have a paper on audit. But what is going to happen is technology and ethics is going to be imbibed in every course and every chapter that we teach. So come May 2024, if you are appearing for your direct tax paper of chartered accountancy, it is not just going to be the tax laws which you will teach, but the practice of law, which is because today, as you are all aware, income tax is largely for leaving aside those who appear in courts and tribunals. For our regular practitioners is largely technology based because you are using it through portals, and therefore very important for one to understand technology, DSCs, and the impact that technology is going to have in the future. And therefore now in the new course curriculum, technology is going to be embedded. So if you do GST, for those who are practicing, and I was seeing you have sessions on GST in this one-day session, it is largely run by the GSTN, which is the GST network. And therefore very important for practitioners also to know how these function and what are the important aspects of technology. Therefore it is going to be imbibed in every course. What has also been changed is 2 papers from final and 2 from intermediate have now been shifted to what is being called as a self-paced learning module. And what will happen is that the delivery of that entire subject is no longer going to happen through books, but through videos, through gamification, using technology and delivering online lectures. And a huge step which the institute is taking is that the assessment and the examination of those 4 papers is also going to happen online. Therefore the student is not going to write the exam, but is going to appear on the computer for that examination, because it is the need of the hour and the future of the profession is going to be technology based examination. So a huge change that is happening in the curriculum. We have proposed these changes to the central government. We had received the in-principle approval, and I am confident that in a very short while from now, we will have the final approval of the central government and we will be able to launch this curriculum. But like I mentioned, technology has truly changed the entire scheme of things, the gambit of the profession, and more importantly, the positioning of the institute in terms of what is going to be important. Today, if you look at ChatGPT, and while I was sitting there, when I was trying to see on the ChatGPT, and I wrote, can you send me an inaugural address for this meeting of, and believe me, I got the entire inaugural address from ChatGPT in a few seconds. Vachi nothing bolto, but I know that they are doing. What I'm saying is, tomorrow the day is not far. We have senior counsels where when your petitions, a lot of the filing which was so far always being done on Word and other documents, I don't see it being too long. And there may be naysayers who say, but think of maybe 10-15 years ago when you had tax reported judgments. I would attend tax seminars and people would come with pen and paper and write down the citations because they had to go back and refer to them. Today you simply put it on Google, you don't even need a tax page software and you will get those orders. Now when Google is building an artificial intelligence portal, when ChatGPT is becoming so prominent, I think a lot of things that we do or we take for granted is going to take a lot of hours, is going to be done in few minutes. And therefore this is going to change how all of us practice, how the future of justice delivery is being done. And of course, when one looks at the Honorable Supreme Court, the changes in technology which all these courts are bringing in, I think the day is not far. And believe me, I got the entire inaugural address from ChatGPT in a few seconds. Vachi nothing bolto, but I know that they are doing. What I'm saying is, tomorrow the day is not far. We have senior counsels where when your petitions, a lot of the filing which was so far always being done on Word and other documents, I don't see it being too long. And there may be naysayers who say, but think of maybe 10-15 years ago when you had tax reported judgments, I would attend tax seminars and people would come with pen and paper and write down the citations because they had to go back and refer to them. Today you simply put it on Google, you don't even need a tax page software and you will get those orders. Now when Google is building an artificial intelligence portal, when ChatGPT is becoming so prominent, I think a lot of things that we do or we take for granted is going to take a lot of hours, is going to be done in few minutes. And therefore this is going to change how all of us practice, how the future of justice delivery is being done. And of course, when one looks at the Honorable Supreme Court, the changes in technology which all these courts are bringing in, I think the day is not far if we don't keep the course curriculum updated. And therefore at the Institute, we are trying to see how the new ABCD, which is artificial intelligence, blockchain, cyber security and data analytics, which are the buzzwords in all the professions. If you go anywhere across the world, this is being discussed, how we can develop and train our membership to excel in it. One very important change which is also coming in the profession, and I'm sure everybody else who are tax professionals will also see this, is we are moving away from financial reporting to non-financial reporting. There was a time when the valuation of companies was always done on profit, on EBITDA, on EPS, on numbers which you could see on financial statements. But today, if you look at the new age companies, valuations are not done on the basis of your turnover, on the basis of your profit, EBITDA, EPS or PE ratio. Valuations are done on number of downloads, number of active users. These are not coming from financial statements. I may be able to certify the number of vendors if I have an ERP mechanism and can see the number of customers that you have. But what are the number of footfalls? No ERP system in the world can give you. But now that is going to be the basis of valuation. And therefore we are now coming up with a very important technical guide on giving attestation and assurance function on non-financial reporting. And on this front, the Institute has taken a very important step when we are talking about non-financial reporting in the area of social audit. The Honorable Finance Minister in her budget speech of 2019 had mentioned about the creation of social stock exchange. Ever since, we have been working very closely with SEBI. I am very happy to inform that the Institute has recently created a separate Section 8 company, the Institute of Social Auditors of India, where all the social enterprises of this country, who hitherto, and going to be a very important area of practice, who were hitherto only raising funds, कोई trust होए, NGO होए, NPO होए, Section 8 company होए, funds raise करे by taking donations, receipts, going to public and then taking money. For them, the large capital market was not accessible. And to solve this problem, social stock exchanges have now been started by both BSE and NSE. And what this will entail is that social enterprises, which are not for profit, can raise funds through these social stock exchanges. And to see that they are meeting the objectives, to ensure that whatever is mentioned in their object clauses in terms of delivery of social equality, there are 16 different areas which SEBI has highlighted. Whether they are able to meet these 16 objectives, for that a social audit will be carried out. And those social audits will be done by, of course, professionals, by chartered accountants, and the entire self-regulatory organization or the SRO for social audits in the form of Institute of Social Auditors has been established by ICI. We also have 16 different social audit standards which we have come out with, and this is also going to be a huge area and it's game changer in terms of social enterprises, because till date only for-profit enterprises or companies which are wanting to list could raise money from the capital markets. But now for social enterprises, for trusts, NGOs and Section 8 companies which are there for charitable purposes, they will also be able to raise funds through this social stock exchange. So huge change which is happening on that front, and very happy to inform that the Institute has been working very actively with the SEBI. Of course, we engage on a very regular basis with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. I myself am a member of the Insolvency Law Committee of the Government of India, where we propose changes in the IBC law. We also have changes which are coming under the Companies Act. Of course, they will be taken up in this winter session of Parliament, but one is hopeful that when you have the monsoon session, there are very important changes which are happening on the Insolvency Law Committee. I can also tell you, as the President of ICI, who is also an ex-officio member of the board of IRDA, which is the Insurance Regulatory Development Authority, that huge change is coming in the insurance framework. And today, the way we see insurance, the way surveyorship and other aspects of the insurance industry has been looked at, there is a huge change coming because they are embracing technology. And believe me, in a year from now, the old era of having an insurance agent, procuring insurance, having the physical policy is going to be done away with. It is all going to be digital on your digital locker, and you will have access of the insurance as well as the claim processing being done online. Huge changes happening, ladies and gentlemen, on the technology front. The nation is changing, the nation is moving at a tremendous scale and pace of making technological advancement. And I think we as professionals have to ensure that we do not let down the nation. We have to keep up pace with these changing technological times so that we are always ahead of the curve and making sure that as the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India or as these two very important associations which are here, we are able to keep our members ahead of the curve and always in the service of the nation. With these words, I once again thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you once again, Samir Bhai and the entire team, for inviting me, and I look forward to having your guidance of your senior members throughout the year, as I will try my best to put my efforts to take the Institute, the profession of Chartered Accountancy, the profession of tax consultants to a higher pedestal in this year. Thank you very much.
your dedication and commitment to the profession. Kintat Karya Jagatyasmin, responsibility as Honorable Justice of Gujarat High Court. Armed with a rich experience of having practiced in several areas of law like taxation, constitution, civil law, arbitration, service laws, matrimonial laws, company law, central administration tribunal, and the list of her accomplishments just are for the inaugural address.
Good morning to all of you. It gives me immense pleasure to address this august gathering and to top it off, that discuss and deliberate on the subject, which is one of my favorite subject, tax. For those who know me, I have dedicated more than 2 decades of my practice to this wonderful subject, tax. I think it has helped me to even evolve intellectually. At the same time, vivisect and understand the complicated issues of other laws too, with a greater clarity, which I can deliver today. For those who are starting out their career, and those who are sitting here as an eminent analyst, they all know that barracks of income tax as well as GST is one of the more dreaded books. What I personally feel today, and actually for all the time, that about taxation is that it is a subject which once you are able to decipher it, and once you get to know that what is the intent behind particular section, that which may run into number of pages, but it seems like a cakewalk to interpret other laws. So on today's gathering at the outset, I would like to congratulate managing committee for organizing this one-day seminar. And also I would like to congratulate Aniket Bhai for his wide vision to put the profession of chartered accountancy to its highest pedestal. So far as taxation is a subject, is a quite extensive subject. But I am certain that today, since you are having the wide range of panelists and who are expertise on the subject, so you will be able to discuss and deliberate with greater detail the topic which you have chosen. Now, going to the history, since we are the oldest culture on this planet, the theory of payment of tax is not new here. It is for the betterment of the nation and for the upliftment of the citizens. In Shanti Parva, which is the advice from Bhishma to Yudhishthir in a Maunaben, the chapter of Shanti Parva is regarding the advice given by Bhishma to Yudhishthir. It referred the rate of tax and how it is to be collected. Even the gradual increase is referred in the context of time and place. So therefore, it is expected that everyone is duty bound to pay the legitimate tax honestly. A furthermore history, since you all must be aware, that first time the income tax was levied in 1960. And at that time, it was at the rate of 4% on income in excess of rupees 500 per annum. So thereafter it has been reduced to 2%. And exactly after nearly 100 years, in 1966-67, it has increased to 97.57% on the income in excess of rupees 15 lakhs, along with levy of wealth tax, estate duty and gift tax. Now see, in less than 50 years, there is a significant move whereby wealth tax was abolished, estate duty abolished, gift tax was abolished, and tax from 97.75% was reduced to 33%. So this is the most reasonable rate of tax one must pay. Similarly is the situation with GST. GST in Indian policy making was a central budget 2007-2008. when the finance minister envisioned the introduction of the system in the country by 2010. So you are aware, for after that, lot many deliberations, lot many discussions, lot many papers have been called for, and thereafter, in Lok Sabha on 6th May 2015, and after which the Rajya Sabha passed a bill on with 9th amendment on 3rd August 2016. So due to this globalization, taxation has acquired a prominence today. In today's world, capital flies where countries where the cost of production is lowest, and correspondingly the ability to earn profit is more. With advent of this globalization, there were several entities engaged in tax planning and tax savings. However, answer whether the particular transaction is a tax planning or tax saving, it lies in the barracks and judicial pronouncement. So now both the acts have undergone a public and parliamentary discourses. One such discourse which immediately occurs is insertion of section 148A, as you all are aware, of the Income Tax Act with effect from 1/4/2021. So of course you will be discussing these subjects on greater details. But immediate question that immediately would come to our mind is that what would be the intent behind the legislation substituting the erstwhile provision and by inserting a new provision? Undoubtedly, you must have seen in the parliamentary that speech of the finance minister that it is to reduce litigation and to do away with uncertainty. That is providing a ease to the business people. Therefore, a separate procedure has been laid down, and it has been evolved following various judicial pronouncements by way of a mandate. Now, it is therefore not only a duty cast upon the SEC only to pay the tax, whatever the legitimate tax is, but there is a duty, corresponding duty of every assessing officer to maintain the provision, and particularly to maintain the procedure which has been mandated by a section, and to follow the procedure in accordance with law. So I would say it is not procedure inculcated under the section is not a mere empty formality, but to consider it in entirety and objectively. Now, by insertion of 148A, the assessing officer is statutorily duty bound to act in accordance with law, keeping in mind the intent and object of the legislation. From this side of the table, whatever experience I have by passage of time, I state that if the procedure contemplated under section 148 is followed in its letter and spirit, that would surely minimize the litigation. This is one such example. But I've seen many times as a quasi-judicial authorities, the assessing officers are duty bound to act in accordance with law and to follow the decision on the subject. Merely writing that this decision is not applicable in the facts of present case is not sufficient, because the reason being soul and heart of any order are to be recorded after due application of mind, and I am sure that if such kind of principles are followed by quasi-judicial authorities, it would surely reduce litigation, and SSC shall not be put to uncertainty by litigating. Similar is the situation with GST. Take one example, that section 129 of GST Act. It is in relation to detention, seizure, release of goods and conveyance in transit, and levy of penalty thereafter. It is noticed that even on a technical grounds, the goods are being detained, by which firstly the business of any SSC will completely put to halt. The person who is carrying the goods is not aware about the intricacies of GST laws. And what will happen, that the act has been introduced to providing ease to the business people, has created a huge difficulty on account of action which is being taken on part of the authorities. Many times it is seen that without providing any reasons, any details, the goods are being detailed, show cause notices are being issued. If any application revoking registration is filed, it is not decided in time. Ultimately, the SSCs whose business is suffered, it is put to halt, and economy of the country which runs on the business of the citizens are being affected largely. So obviously this would not be the intent of the legislation to put the SSCs into difficulties and to put that there is a difficulty with regard to the carrying out the business. Therefore, there has to be harmonious balance between rights of the SSC and duties of the officers who are implementing the provisions. As we are deliberated on these issues, we need to realize that taxation is not just economics. It is a tool for social redistribution of resources. Taxation or lack of it is one of the most powerful incentives ever used to spur development in the region or particular sector of the industry. Therefore, today's seminar would be a great help to everyone, and to taxation laws are extremely important for the upcoming future events which is to be taken. Before parting, let me add that primary responsibility of all of us to protect the integrity of the tax system. There must not be dichotomy between strict letter of law and the spirit of law. Ideally, justice, law and public expectations should be on the same platform. But I've seen that they are not often on the same platform. The idea of deliberation on the subject through this kind of seminars is that the law must evolve and the law must in sync with justice, and therefore this kind of seminars plays a significant role in evolving law and to provide a platform to in sync the same with justice. With this, I wish the best to the committee members and each one of you who are part of the conference today. The eminent speakers and the participants for the great success. I am thankful to the committee members and the Federation and the Tax Advocates Association, Gujarat, for providing me such opportunity to express my views. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am, for inaugurating this one-day conference and for your enlightening and guiding address. Jani, Vice President, West Zone AIFTP, to present a memento to CA Aniket Talati, President ICAI and our guest of honor today. Shri Bhatt, NEC member AIFTP, to present a memento to Mr. Pankaj Ghia, President AIFTP. We request Kinjal Shah, Vice President, TAG, to welcome Chairman AIFTP, Mr. Ashwin Acharya. We now request Mr. Sailesh Desai. Thank you. And we now request Mr.
Dignitaries on the stage, of the stage, participants. I feel honored and privileged to get the opportunity to propose a vote of thanks on this special occasion of inaugural session of this one-day conference. It is well said that courtesy costs nothing but buys everything. And every now and then we are using the word thank you. but in fact, thank you is a prayer. It cannot be seen or touched. It must be felt by the heart itself. At this juncture, now I would like to specially thank to the today's chief guest, Honorable Justice of Gujarat High Court, Maunaben Bhatt, and guest of honor, CA Sri Aniket Talati sir, President ICAI, who blessed us with the majestic presence and sharing their precious time. If time is money, then they have spent millions for us, in fact. On behalf of AIFTP and TAG, I also need to mention my deepest sense of appreciation to all the dignitaries joined in this inaugural session and to all the honorable officials and delegates. Hope all the participants will enjoy this one-day seminar. Thank you very much. Thanks to all.
हमारी मेंबरशिप आज गुजरात में ऑल इंडिया फेडरेशन ऑफ टैक्स प्रैक्टिशनर वेस्ट जोन और टैक्स एडवोकेट्स एसोसिएशन द्वारा एक वन-डे कॉन्फ्रेंस रखी गई जिसमें इनकम टैक्स और जीएसटी के जो क्लिष्ट बिंदु हैं उनके ऊपर डिस्कशन हो रहा है। आज टैक्स लॉज